Hi again folks, how's all doing? So this is the Dinandan that I repaired for Keith recently. I still have it, as you can see, because he's asked me if I would fit a Peter Spare replacement motor into it. I've fitted a few of these motors and I thought it'd be a good idea to video this transplant as it's not always straightforward. Right, let's get Sir Dinadan into the shed and we'll swap his motor out. Okay, so we shall fit this XO4 replacement motor from Peter Spares into this Dinandan. I get asked quite a lot about these because I did that video a wee while ago featuring them, and I like them. I'm a fan of them, but as we'll maybe find in this installation, it's not always straightforward. It can take a bit of fiddling to get them to fit. You have to bend the bottom plate and file the little prongs at the front of the mount sometimes. Right, okay, the rod. So the XO4 motor, as a lot of people say, they're very reliable, very serviceable. Why would you want to replace it with one of these? The main issue is noise. You know, one of these is going to be much quieter, but it'll also pull a lot less amps, which is maybe important if you're going to convert it to DCC. But you know, that motor is going to be much more efficient. Its slow speed performance will be better as well. So it's going to make this run quieter and smoother, and that's the main issue you would want to put one in. A lot of people have commented on the cost of these. One of these from Peter Spares via eBay will set you back £31 including postage, which does seem a lot, but you know, you've got to factor in that Peter Spares is trying to make a profit out of these. They're not giving them away, and there's probably been a fair bit of outlay in producing these. So yeah, it's the way of the world. I'm afraid you need markup to survive in business, so don't be too damning of businesses when they charge seemingly a lot of money for stuff. I'm quite sure that they won't want to charge too much to outprice it and put people off. At the same time, they've got to cover the production, the overheads, and everything else that goes into running a business. So anyway, right, okay, we'll need to get this out, so we shall take that out first of all and get a little brass screwdriver in. Get that out. But when you do one of these conversions, you know, you're not throwing the old motor away. You can always put the old motor back if you want. Come on, come. There you go. You know, you're not throwing that in the bin. You're just putting it aside. You could always refit it if you so wish. Right, okay, so I'm going to desolder that, and we'll keep this bit. We'll keep the suppressor. So we'll just need another little wire to go from there to the negative terminal of the motor. Right. Get that off. That's it. That it. Desolder this as well for the moment. So all you get in the kit is the motor with the worm gear fitted. You can also get one with the nylon worm gear, the mount, and this little rear bracket, which goes on there like that. Personally, I'd quite like to see one of these little terminals and a little piece of black wire included in the kit, and maybe some instructions, but never mind. Right, just going to get this wire out the road, and we'll see how well this fits. It should just slot in. You might have to angle it a bit. There we go, it's gone in. But you can see it's not sitting flush on the chassis. Right, so put the rear bracket on. I'll screw this down. And see if it runs okay. So let's prop this up and we'll apply some power to it. That seems okay in that direction. Yeah, it seems okay, but won't really know until we get it onto the track. When it comes to this wire, I've done a couple of these installations, and what I ended up doing was using a multi-tool to cut a groove in the chassis to run the wire underneath the motor. This is actually okay. There's a little gap there between that bit of the chassis and the motor that you can tuck the wire into, and that keeps it out the road, so that's fine. So that'll need to be soldered into the top there, and then we need to fix that onto there and attach a wire from there to the other terminal. However, I'm going to take this rear bracket off. So this rear bracket, the top hole where this terminal pokes through, to me it's far too much of a short risk. So I'm going to cut this little bit away with a multi-tool and just leave this open at the top. Really what matters is this hole that you screw it into the chassis with, and this hole that holds the motor in place. That doesn't actually need to be a hole, it just needs to be a gap. So we'll cut that away. There you can see I've just opened that up. So that's going to minimise the risk of a short circuit. Pop that back on, get that in place. Okay, take away length of black wire, through that terminal, solder that one to there, and then we want to try and solder that onto there. Like that. Okay. It seems to be fine. We'll get some grease on the worm gear. Just a mixture of silicone and PTFE grease. When I serviced this model, I didn't notice it had a broken rear step. But anyway, right, there we go. Let's go and see how that sounds in the layout now. Okay, so I ran this in the layout, and it's lurching a little bit, and you can see that the motor's coming up. I would still like this motor to be more parallel with the chassis. So I'm going to take this out again, and I'm going to see if we can bend the front of the mount a little bit. But this is what I mean by fitting these motors is not always straightforward. With some you can just slot them in, wire it up, and away it goes fine. But with others, you need to play around with them. What I want to do is see if I can get a bit of a bend on the mount at the front. Hold it there. Give it a wee bit of a bend there. And a wee bit of a bend there. What's that done? That's better, but it could be bent a bit more yet, I think. desolder that. Get that off and off, because I want to put a counter bend on this rear bracket. Bend it that way. So between the little bend at the front there and the bend on that rear bracket, I'm hoping that'll improve the gear mesh enough to stop this lurching. Right, so now the motor is sitting almost parallel to the chassis, which is a bit more what we want. So let's see if we can get this soldered up again, and then hopefully it'll run okay. I took this front bogie off because it was making a bit of a rattling sound. I mean, some of them do, but I think this maybe needs a wee bit of a bend out and a bend that way. I just don't think it was quite resting on the track right. Right, let's see if that runs any better. So before I pull this out of the shed, let's just see and hear how this used to run. So to be honest, it wasn't actually too bad, and it pulled just over 200 milliamps. But let's see how this runs now. So there we are, so Dinadan running a lot quieter and smoother, and with a 50% or more reduction in the current draw. It really has made a big difference to the running of this old locomotive. It's got improved slow running and less hesitation, so in my view it's a worthwhile upgrade. These motors do run fast, and it wouldn't be a bad idea to fit a voltage dropper to slow them down a bit, but their slow speed performance is pretty good, so I wouldn't worry too much about that. I still recommend fitting them, but as you saw in this video, it's not always a straightforward process to fit them. But to be fair, Peter Spares does state that bending of the mount may be required. Okay, I will get this and the J83 packed up and sent back to Keith now. Catch you later, folks.